Hello, welcome back to Pinkfish Inc. In this video, I'm going to show you how to install Pinkfish. In the prior video, I went over Pinkfish, just a short introduction, while showing you how to set up a Linux VM for Pinkfish usage. All right, so go over to the Pinkfish website at this address. If you'll Google FJA0568 and space Pinkfish, then that'll get you over to this page. Anyway, I'll put the URL in the description. Anyway, go to here and follow these instructions. Now, these instructions are for Linux or a Linux VM. You'll have to do something different for Windows or a Mac OS. I recommend using Linux or a Linux VM. I do all of my actual Pinkfish development in a Linux VM. So if you want to use Windows or Mac OS, probably the route you want to go is to install Anaconda, because that gives you Jupyter Notebook and a bunch of other stuff to get you started. All right, so here is our Linux VM. I'm going to log in. And we're going to use the console for doing all of this. Bring the console up. And then here's the website. And we'll just flip back and forth between this website and that console. So the first thing we always want to do before we do any sort of install into a Ubuntu system is to make sure it's up to date. So there's two commands for that. There's this one, sudo apt update. apt is the package manager for Ubuntu, so we paste that in. And then the other one is sudo apt upgrade. All right, so that's good. After that, there's some preliminary requirements before you actually install Pinkfish. So this one right here is a package that lets you just type, Python instead of Python 3 every time you want to use it. It's a bit of annoyance for me. Build Essentials is going to give you the capability to build C programs, which you're going to have to do for TALib in a little bit. Now, you don't have to know C programming to do this. You just need to install this Build Essentials and then a few simple instructions to build TALib. TALib is written in C, and it's got a Python wrapper around it. TALib is the technical analysis library. And we need to install Git. We'll wait on this to finish first. I recommend that you install these things serially and don't try to open another console and doing them in parallel. I have them ordered here. If you follow this order, it should work for you. We're going to install pip, which is the Python package manager. And then this will create a link so that you can just type pip instead of pip3. After that, to be quite honest with you, I don't remember what this is used for. Now we're going to actually install Pinkfish. So this has been I've been developing this pretty actively this past year. And so I haven't created a package in a long time for it. So we're going to do it from the source. Pinkfish is reached a point of stableness, but for a long time I've been really actively developing it. So I didn't take time to stop and install packages for it. All right, so we're going to cd into there, and then we're going to run the setup for Pinkfish. The setup uses a requirements.txt file, and it's going to pull in all the dependencies, almost all the dependencies we need for Pinkfish. And you see it's doing that right now. So these are all the dependencies that are getting pulled in. Now I'll add that if you want to actually delve into the Pinkfish code and you want to be a contributor, you need to run this instead of sudo python setup.install, you need to type develop there instead. And you can even do it from here, the develop. What that's going to do is you can edit the code in the Pinkfish directory, and it will use that code instead of using the code that's set up in the global space. All right, so now we're going to just change to the downloads directory, because we're going to download TALib. So let's download that. TALib hasn't changed in forever, so I doubt that is going to change. I don't doubt that's going to be updated. Then we're going to unpackage these files, and then we're going to cd into the TALib library, and we're going to run configure on it, okay, with this command line. Okay, configure is running, and then after that it's a standard, make, and then make install. So make. Now it's actually compiling the TALib. That's where we needed the build essentials. And the next one's going to be the make install. We'll wait for this to finish. We're building this in the downloads directory. You might want to copy it somewhere else if you want to investigate the code, which I've never felt the need to do. Okay, so this is taking a little bit. Let's look forward and see what is coming up. So after that, we're going to install the Python wrapper for it. And then after that, you're going to create a shared data cache directory. I have this marked as optional, which it is. If you don't have this, then it's going to put your time series data into your project folder, which is fine, but having a shared data cache directory is really nice, because then all of your projects can share that data cache. There might be some reason that you don't want to share it, but I have it turned on for my own personal work. All right, so let's install the wrapper, TALib, the Python wrapper. All right, I don't know what all that red is about. Okay, we have an error, and I don't know what that is for. Oh, okay. It looks like there's a problem with wheels, maybe. I recall seeing this before, and okay, so I'm going to pause the video and try to figure out what this error is, and then I will restart it. Okay, I figured out the problem, and what I didn't do is I failed to do the actual install. So let's do that. I think that's the problem anyway. Now let's try this again. I didn't see it in my command history, so that's why I didn't think it had been run. Okay, this looks better so far. We'd already gotten errors by this point before. Okay. Let's go ahead and copy this into our buffer. And we're just waiting on the TA-lib Python wrapper to install. I don't remember this taking this long before, but it's taking a little while right now. It's not stuck though. Yay, it got done. So now we're going to start building the Pinkfish config file. That's all we're doing here. There we go. And then next, do this. And this is the last step of the install. So it created the config file. If we go to our home directory, we can see that file. It's pretty simple. It's just got this one setting in here called base directory, and that's where home FJA0568, that's my username, that's where it's going to create the data cache directory. Okay. So let's go to Pinkfish. I'm going to change to the Pinkfish directory, and from here we can run Jupyter Notebook, and we're going to try one of the example programs and make sure everything's working. I'll go full screen here. So let's go to examples, and we'll go to the buy and hold directory and go to strategy. Okay, now we're going to say run all, and see if this works. And it did. Okay, so what happened here? Well, it completely worked. It imported these libraries, so all the dependencies were set up properly. It went out over the internet and got the time series for this symbol, FXE, and then it ran the algorithm and produced the results down here. So good. So everything is working. And the rest of the examples are here in the example directory. I'm going to save other videos to go over these examples and to maybe give a quick intro to the code. And we're going to stop it here. We've completed I completed what I set out to achieve. And yeah, so we'll just stop it here. See you later.